Joining us this morning is Darren Hazelwood, of course, the CEO of Panther Metals. Well, Darren, thank you for joining us. This is a bit of a different RNS. Of course, the company's announced that you're combining hard assets with digital currency. You're saying in the RNS there that you plan to purchase £4 million of Bitcoin to hold in a Bitcoin Treasury. Just give us the thinking behind this, because this is a little bit left field for a mining company.
It's a new way of funding the mining and junior exploration space. We believe that we can massively accelerate our growth on the back of it. And the concept is really very simple. We've discussed at length in the past, Mark, the concerns around the fiat world. We've just seen the American debt levels tick up officially to above 37 trillion. The UK economy, as an example, we're looking like they're going to have to raise taxes again in September. The fiat world's in trouble, and we now have a mechanism in place that we can hedge against the fiat world, despite holding assets that are priced in fiat currencies.
So what are you saying here? That you've got the real hard asset, i.e., the mining project, will produce real things, real commodities, but you're sort of offsetting or also hedging that against or with, I don't know what the word is, a digital asset, which of course is very popular at the moment.
Oh, absolutely, and that is the plan. Last week we announced the option agreement on the PIC deposit, a very real, high-grade, extremely exciting deposit. And we're now able to provide cover on that fiat-based priced asset with our Bitcoin Treasury. But
this allows you to actually sort of fund that project as well, for reading the RNS there, that you say you can secure a loan using the Bitcoin that you'll have in your treasury as collateral. So this will actually allow you to then fund it, and a loan company will look to back that loan, underwrite that loan with your treasury.
Good, isn't it?
Well, it's different. It's definitely a different way to approach it. I mean,
just to be clear here, we're only using a small percentage of the Bitcoin Treasury as collateral against that option payment. That would mean that the deposit comes 100% into the ownership of Panther Metals. And by doing that, we're actually entering in a world where the cost of finance is substantially lower than the traditional means and the traditional avenues used by explorers. So suddenly the dilutive risk to our existing shareholders is hugely underwritten.
Well, you've said that in the RNS as well, and I know that's a big thing for you at Panther, is to minimise shareholder dilution there. And you say you can attract more favourable terms doing this route.
Oh, absolutely. And those favourable terms are already in place. Let's be clear here. We've seen companies announce Bitcoin treasuries, okay? But we've been working on this for some time. And we discussed gold, for instance. We've discussed it many times on this interview over the years. And you know my feelings. You know what I've said publicly. You also know what I've said privately. And that's probably more relevant today than ever, because you know that my own underlying fears. I was calling in public for gold to go well north of $2,000. In private, talking to you, I actually said to you that I can see it going way over $3,000. That's exactly what's happened. And the reason that's happened is because of the problems within the fiat world, and that is such a concern for everybody out there. And now, by structuring this option payment in that way, we're hedging that for our investors, but also opening the company up to a whole new world. But you've got to remember, we've already got our digital currency and the Bitcoin Treasury. It's open. It's done. We've been working on this. We're not announcing that we're intending to open a Bitcoin. It's open. We can start purchasing Bitcoin at any moment in time.
And how quickly do you want to do that then?
Well, look, the first thing for me to do, we've been through a brutal cycle in the exploration space. And as a result of that, I've got a number of really good loyal supporters of the business over the last few years that have stood with us through some tough times. They stayed with the vision that I've had. The only assurance I could give them during that period is that I would not over dilute, and I'd work in their best interest. They know that, they've seen that. And now I have to give those investors the opportunity to if they wish to convert warrants. Our share price is near the warrant price before already, and so we're not far off that. And what we'll do with any warrants that are converted, we will immediately purchase Bitcoin with that warrant conversion, so that we're starting to build up our BTC account. After a very short window, we'll see what happens with the warrant conversions, but those warrant conversions will come directly off of the £4 million that we've announced that we plan to raise. So I'll pick an arbitrary number. We get £1 million worth of warrant conversions, then we will only raise £3 million in the market. And that, again, has big implications for our existing shareholders, because it's limiting that dilution during a period of hopefully really strong growth for us. And that's the best that I can do.
Well, I mean, it's certainly, you mentioned a window there. I think there's definitely a window of opportunity at the moment in this space. We've seen a lot of Bitcoin Treasury companies on the London markets here doing extremely well, attracting lots of interest here. And I do like the balance of real hard assets, which you can touch, which have real value, which have real use in industry, versus, of course, the crypto element, the Bitcoin element there, which is also what people hold to hedge against fiat currency. And there's a lot of interest in the space. What about targeting? I think I noticed in the RNS the line about the OTC, because the American investors, I think, are really keen on these plays at the moment.
Yeah, no, we've been in discussions with the OTC for some time regarding a listing. And what we're going to do now is pick up on those discussions and just drive through that listing process, and as quickly as we can. And but it is important for everyone to understand that the advantage here, if you are an investor in the exploration space, in the mining industry, and you don't necessarily understand a BTC, but you might have concerns about the fiat currency, you can now come to Panther and get a perfect hedge on that thought process, and vice versa. If you're in the BTC world and you look across to Panther, you can have a company that actually will have physically backed assets against the BTC. Yeah. Now, we won't buy anything. We will buy BTC before we buy any other assets or drive that forward, so that we've got a genuine hedge all the way up the growth curve.
Okay. I think it would be a really great thing if you could attract the Bitcoin investment community into a play, effectively, that's backed against real assets, because that is, you can't dispute a real asset. You say you've been working on this for a while, and I think that one of the paragraphs in the RNS was quite important. It stood out to me. You say the company considers that the net effect of maintaining £4 million Bitcoin holding, together with 100% ownership of the Pig Lake deposit, opens up an entirely new, innovative way to accelerate the growth of the business. And to hedge against the BTC exposure, the company will use traditional funding mechanisms to maintain the 4 million Bitcoin treasury, should this be required. So just on the two elements there, but firstly on the risk element, Bitcoin can be volatile. What's the hedge against that pulling back?
We've still got the traditional markets. They're not dead to us by any stretch. The traditional markets are open to us, so there's no concerns there whatsoever.
Okay, good. And fine. Well, I mean, something that came to mind was when I recall when I was talking to a lady at BHP Explore. Of course, that program they run. She told me that she wants to make mining sexy again, and that's one of the ways that BHP were trying to make it sexy. I think this is perhaps certainly an element. You say it's innovative. I think an innovative way to accelerate the growth of the business, but perhaps this is a good way to make mining sexy, because it's about time we had some more interest in the space.
Well, Mark, I can only thank you for that, but there's not many people that link me and sexy in the same sentence. So, but as a company, I'll certainly take it. And listen, we're looking forward to an extraordinary strong period of growth now, and
Excellent.
we've had to wait for the right moment in time, and that moment is now. But I believe, could lay the foundations for a very, very strong growth period for the business. And that's what we've been after. That's what we've been waiting for. We, as I've already alluded to, we've had to be patient here. Our investors have had to be patient, and we've now found a way to accelerate that growth beyond, I believe, what anybody could consider. And don't forget, we're a London stock market main list company. Right, a lot of the Bitcoin treasuries in London are on the smaller junior markets. Not everyone across the globe can trade them. You can trade Panther Metals on the main list in London. We're a company that's registered in the Isle of Man. That does give us additional benefits in terms of Bitcoin and what we can do with that going forward, that isn't necessarily open to companies that are registered in the UK. So we have some USPs here within Panther that do set us apart, and we intend to drive those as hard as we can and as fast as we can.
Well, it's a great idea. I think you've got, as you say, you've got the window to go for it now. And if you can attract investment into that space, make mining sexy again, then I hope you do. Thank you very much, Darren Hazelwood, for joining us today.
Thanks, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.